DJ referred to him as his brother, even though they're not actually related.
They grew up together in West Hartford, went to Hall High School.
You find one, you find the other. I observed a tan Honda Accord parked, the doors open.
You could see blood where their victims were in the front seats when they were shot.
He never saw the shooter. He claims that he didn't know who shot them.
Alarm bells are going off in their head. This might be a retaliation.
There was one young man who really had this expectation of himself to do what was right and avenge the death of his good friend.
That's when everything went wrong.
It's just a few days before Christmas in the capital city of Hartford, Connecticut.
It's a historic city. It's a city that used to be the richest in the U.S. There is a lot of diversity here. It's rich with culture, the arts.
Hartford is a super diverse community. You have many Latinos, Puerto Ricans, South American, Central American. You have Bosnians. You have a large Albanian community. It's just African American, Asians, Laotians, you name it, we have it in Hartford.
Saturday, December 20th, 2014. Around 5:30 in the morning, a resident of the apartment building near Colt Park is startled by a loud noise.
She sees a man. He's clutching his arm. The person is bleeding profusely. He's obviously in a lot of pain. He gets inside that building and he collapses on the stairwell.
She let him use her cell phone to call 911.
She stays with the man until EMTs and officers with the Hartford Police Department arrive.
That's where he started getting medical treatment by EMS.
He is shot in the shoulder and through the elbow.
Did they know the shooter? He did not want to say who shot him. He did not want to say anything.
Responding officers learned the man's name.
Dedrick Jimenez. DJ is his nickname.
24-year-old DJ says he was shot not far from the apartment building.
He was in his brother's car when he was shot.
DJ reveals that his brother, 23-year-old Hiram Martinez, is still in the car, and he was also shot.
His brother's car is down the street. You can almost see where the vehicle was from where he was.
Investigators find a man slumped over the center console. They can see pretty quickly he's been shot at the back of the head.
Despite the wound, Hiram still has a pulse.
He is transported to the hospital. They're still working on him.
DJ Jimenez and Hiram Martinez weren't born brothers, but came to think of each other as such by way of an intense friendship that began when they were young.
They grew up together in West Hartford, went to Hall High School. People think, well, Hartford, West Hartford, same thing, but very, very different. West Hartford has a smaller town, yet urban feel to it.
DJ referred to him as his brother. He'd call Hiram his brother, even though they're not actually related, they were just close friends.
They had a fast friendship and an enduring one. They went through a lot of life together, from their boyhood to their teen years to their adult years.
As a teen, Hiram dreamed of becoming a race car mechanic. But that dream didn't pan out. When he was 20, Hiram and his girlfriend became parents to a baby girl. On December 20th, 2014, both Hiram and DJ are on their way to Hartford Hospital after suffering gunshot wounds during an early morning attack. As the men receive medical care, detectives arrive at the apartment building near the 100-acre Colt Park.
It's an area that's usually full of happy times and families and sporting events. But on this occasion, on this day, police tape is surrounding the scene.
I was asked to respond to the crime scene and assume the role as the lead investigator.
Along with Detective Richter, siblings Anthony and Mike Rakowski are also on the case.
My brother is my twin, so to be able to work with him on such, high responsibility cases it's really an amazing thing. He brings a certain view to the table, a little bit different than mine sometimes, and we bounce back and forth off each other, and it makes for a much more well-rounded investigation.
Detectives begin their investigation in the stairwell where DJ took refuge.
We're trying to get as much information as possible, as quickly as we can. So I just went over there, saw what was there, which is a little blood and, some EMS equipment that they used to treat him, and then just backtracked. So I just started walking from there back towards the vehicle.
They examined the car, where the second victim, Hiram, was found.
I observed the doors open, 2 doors open.
You could see blood. You could see kind of where the victims were in the front seats when they were shot.
Hiram Martinez had been seated in the front passenger seat, and DJ was the operator of the vehicle.
That leads investigators to an important conclusion about where the shots came from.
So Hiram shot in the back of the head, and then Dedrick is shot in the shoulder and through the elbow. And if you imagine a Honda Accord, with a center console and the driver sitting in the driver position, that's consistent with being shot in the back seat. The shooter's in the back seat.
It appears likely to investigators that DJ and Hiram knew the person who shot them.
We didn't really find any shell casings outside the car. I think we maybe found a cigarette butt outside the car. We don't know if that was connected.
Investigators will have to wait for a warrant to conduct a detailed search of the vehicle. With the crime scene giving up few clues, detectives head to Hartford Hospital to speak with the victims.
They have to start figuring out why. What's the motive? Why did someone want to hurt or potentially kill both of these men? They go to the hospital. That's where DJ has had successful surgery on his shoulder and elbow. He's got permanent rods put in both.
Detectives learned that the man DJ called his brother is not so lucky.
Hiram Martinez, he died later at the hospital. We had a homicide.
Detectives speak with DJ, who is still claiming to know nothing about the attack.
We're trying to get as much information as possible, as quickly as we can. He gave us bits and pieces.
The initial information he provided was, I don't want to say misleading, but it was not complete. He initially provides information that he never saw the shooter. He claims that he didn't know who shot them, that he was in a vehicle. He took off running.
Witnesses don't want to be witnesses. People are scared. They don't want to be the one that snitches.
No one wants to be, considered a snitch.
Investigators share with DJ that his beloved brother and best friend, Hiram, has died.
When he finds out that Hiram Martinez, his childhood best friend, is dead, that's when everything changed.
He started giving information about who the person was.
Now that DJ's willing to talk, investigators are all ears. And it turns out DJ has a lot to say.
The individual who shot them goes by the street name Papone.
In Hartford, Connecticut, police are investigating an early morning double shooting just days before Christmas in 2014. 24-year-old DJ Jimenez survived wounds to the shoulder and arm. His best friend, 23-year-old Hiram Martinez, was not as fortunate.
He's been shot at the back of the head, and he is pronounced dead.
After learning of his best friend's death, DJ cooperates with detectives. He says he knows who fired the shots.
That was when DJ provided the information that an individual he knows as Papone was the person who shot him.
It was someone he met during a stint in prison. Both were on parole.
DJ tells detectives he and Hiram ran into Papone the night before.
DJ says that he was out with his bro. They were hanging, having some drinks, going to some clubs.
And he had explained that they had all been at an after-hours party off of Park Street in Hartford. And he and Hiram had had contact with Papone at that party.
So there's DJ, Papone, and Hiram all hanging out. They're having drinks. It's a good time. It's really late at night, early in the morning, and it seems all good. At one point, DJ has to use the restroom, and that's when Hiram and Papone have time together themselves.
DJ tells detectives that when he came back, Papone's mood was starkly different.
His whole disposition changed. He wasn't talkative anymore. He knew something was wrong or something was off with this guy.
Everything seemed to be fine, but now something has changed drastically. He explains to investigators something wasn't right. He didn't know what at the time.
According to DJ, Hiram pulled him aside a few moments later. He claimed that Papone became upset when Hiram started talking about another crime, one that took place about a week prior.
Hiram had actually somewhat bragged at the fact that he had killed Mariano Gonzalez on Bond Street to Papone.
Investigators interviewing DJ immediately recognized the crime DJ is referring to.
When they're hearing DJ say this, now alarm bells are going off in their head. We might have a payback. This might be a retaliation.
My brother was assigned as the lead investigator in that case. I was called in to assist.
December 14th, 2014, we had patrol officers dispatched to the area. It was about almost 2 a.m. on the report of shots fired and then another call of a person shot. Officers went out to the scene. At that time, they located a victim with a gunshot wound to the head. He was pronounced deceased on scene.
The victim was 37-year-old Mariano Gonzalez.
This crime scene was fairly limited in size in the sense that it was contained to really the driveway and the street immediately in front of there. There wasn't too much for evidence at that scene other than the deceased himself. Once the initial photographs are done, and then we can kind of roll the deceased over to get a better look at him, we discovered that he had a cell phone in his pocket and he had ammunition, rifle caliber ammunition.
When investigators questioned onlookers at the scene, they learned that one woman witnessed the actual shooting.
She heard an argument outside. She heard some foul language, caused her to look out the window, and she sees the suspect shoot our victim one time. The victim falls. She sees him shoot a second time. After he shot a second time, the suspect goes through, by her account, goes through the victim's pockets. She believed he took a watch off of his wrist. As the suspect stood up, he then kicked the victim in the face and then ran away. She described him as thin, right, very thin. He was shorter than the victim.
When detectives broke the news of Mariano's death to his family, they hoped they might also uncover a lead.
It's a huge priority for us to open up that line of communication with family and implore them to actually give us information.
But instead, Mariano's brother flew into a rage.
The brother was very aggressive, like very, very aggressive. I understand he's grieving, you know, people process that differently. So we kind of let him be. The brother shut the door on us. Like, we're done, we're not talking to you. So we didn't really get anywhere as far as establishing a timeline there or any cooperation with family.
The major challenge initially was the victim's family's lack of cooperation.
They didn't want anything to do with it, I guess because of the fear of retaliation. And you find out a lot of people don't want to get involved.
Eventually, investigators did gain access to Mariano's cell phone.
We were able to take one of the last phone numbers that had made contact with the victim and link that to Hiram Martinez. The contact, if I recall, was about 30 minutes prior to the calls for the shots fired.
Hiram also matched the description of the shooter given by the woman who witnessed the crime.
And now we have eyewitnesses giving us a description of a person consistent with Hiram Martinez. It's really starting to point towards Hiram Martinez. We're still far away from calling him a suspect. He's just someone that we want to talk to.
But before detectives could question Hiram, he too was gunned down. Back at Hartford Hospital, Hiram's best friend, DJ, tells investigators that Hiram bragged about shooting Mariano to the man who eventually shot both him and Hiram.
According to DJ, Hiram told Pepone that he killed Mariano.
We immediately suspected that there was a connection to the original Bond Street case.
Police in Hartford, Connecticut are investigating the shooting death of 23-year-old Hiram Martinez. They believe his death could be related to a shooting that claimed the life of Mariano Gonzalez just 6 days before. A killing that Hiram was suspected of carrying out.
Although we suspected that, we don't fixate on that, because it's very easy to fixate on an avenue like that and then you overlook a second potential suspect. We've seen commonly that people have multiple adversaries and multiple avenues of people that want to harm them. So, though we believed it wholeheartedly, we had to remain open-minded.
So far, the only person investigators can count on for information is the sole surviving victim of the second shooting, DJ Jimenez. As DJ recovers in a local hospital, detectives continue to press him for details.
He told us bits and pieces through multiple interviews. We met with Mr. Jimenez several times, different detectives, myself, to try to piece together what occurred. This happened over a course of a few interviews.
Over time, DJ expands on what happened when Pepone's mood had changed that night at the club, after Hiram had bragged about shooting Mariano.
It's getting late, and clearly the fun is starting to feel like it's over. Pepone's not in a good mood.
They were leaving, and Pepone had asked them to give him a ride to his girlfriend's house.
They didn't want to give him a ride. Eventually, reluctantly, I guess they did give him a ride.
DJ explains he was driving with Pepone in the back and Hiram in the passenger seat. Pepone said he needed some cigarettes. They stopped at a convenience store.
Pepone wants Martinez to get the cigarettes. Martinez doesn't want to get the cigarettes. The bantering and the arguing is going on. Finally, DJ says, I'll get the cigarettes. He goes into the convenience store. He comes out with the cigarettes. Now, supposedly, they're on their way.
Then, Pepone requested another stop. This time so he could relieve himself. He tells DJ to pull over near Cold Park.
They pull up next to a grassy knoll on the outside of the park, and Pepone gets out. DJ tells investigators that he can see Pepone, and Pepone is not so far away, but he's on his cell phone. And he watches him on his cell phone, probably doesn't think too much of it, waits for him to get back to the car.
Shortly thereafter, he gets back in the vehicle, and that's when Jimenez hears a loud bang. Covers his ears, he realizes it's a gunshot. gets out of the car, starts running.
For investigators, it raises concern that the cycle of retaliation might continue. But that leaves them with a burning question. Who is Pepone?
Street names are street names. They could be used by anybody.
Detectives know they need to ID Pepone quickly before the bloodshed continues.
We don't want to see retaliatory violence. Anytime we have a crime of violence like this, we are very concerned about retaliation. A lot of times we see family members or close friends of victims, if they hear a name, whether it's true or not, they want to go retaliate.
Investigators aren't the only ones who are worried.
This was a crime 5 days before Christmas. The crime on Bond Street was just a week prior. This was something that really rocked the Hartford community. This was yet another homicide in a city reeling from way more than their fair share. This was something that people who lived in the area were stunned by. They were startled, they were shaken, they were scared.
Detectives hunker down, focused on finding Pepone's true identity.
We will take those street names and we'll enter them into certain databases that we have, or we ask, DOC contacts, probation contacts, anybody who's familiar with somebody utilizing this street name.
We just had his nickname, and we were able to identify who he was through, our channels with the Department of Correction, because he uses that nickname, Pepone, before.
We were able to take the street name information obtained from DJ. We were able to determine that Pepone was, in fact, Tyrone Rosa.
To make sure they have the right guy, investigators show DJ a photo lineup.
We created a photo array. In that array, it contains our potential suspect as well as individuals who look similar.
It didn't take any time at all for DJ to say, that's him.
He did make a positive ID of Tyrone Rosa as being the person that was in the car.
In Hartford, Connecticut, detectives believe they're getting closer to finding the killer of Hiram Martinez, after Hiram's best friend, DJ, identifies Tyrone Rosa as the gunman.
After we identified Pepone, or Tyrone Rosa, we just started doing a workup, a background on him to figure out where he lives, all his pertinent information.
Before they attempt to bring him in for questioning, detectives do some digging on Tyrone. They learn he was close with the murder victim, Mariano Gonzalez, and his brother, the man who'd flown into a rage in front of police upon learning of Mariano's death.
He knew Mariano, but the relationship that Pepone had with his brother was far deeper than investigators first realized. They found out later, via social media, that this was someone that Pepone cared deeply about. He said he loved him, he would die for him.
But investigators speculate that Hiram had no idea the man he was socializing with at the club was so close to a man he claimed to have killed.
Tyrone and Mariano Gonzalez's brother and Mariano Gonzalez were actually friends. We don't believe that Hiram knew that when he was bragging about that homicide.
Tyrone may have wanted to retaliate because Hiram Martinez admitted to killing the brother of one of his closest friends.
Investigators also learned that the 35-year-old Tyrone Rosa is no stranger to the law.
He was on parole, which is great for us because that gives us access for an interview. And that's what we did. We ended up having his parole officer bring him up to the Major Crimes Division for an interview.
17 days after Hiram and DJ were shot, Tyrone Rosa is brought in for questioning with detectives, grudgingly.
He didn't seem nervous, per se. He definitely seemed very closed off and reluctant to speak. He was keeping his cards close to his chest.
Detectives keep at it.
We started getting to the meat of it, asking him if he knew certain people, if he was at an after-hours club with them. He, seemed reluctant to speak, but then he started giving us some information, saying he was at an after-hours club with Mr. Martinez and Mr. Jimenez.
At this point, the story is starting to line up a little bit with DJ's, but this is where the story changes.
Tyrone claims he didn't leave the club with DJ and Hiram.
He said he never went with them in the vehicle, that he stayed at the after-hours club, and they left by themselves. When I knew he was lying, that's a good sign, actually, for me. I like when people lie in an interview. You know you're getting close.
As for the victim of the first shooting, Mariano Gonzalez, Tyrone says he had no reason to avenge that death.
He said that he doesn't really know the other victim, which was Mr. Gonzalez, and his brother, kind of downplayed. He said he knew of them, didn't really associate with them. He kept trying to downplay his association with the victim.
Investigators aren't buying it.
He didn't really want to admit that he was really close friends with him. We knew he was close friends with his brother. That's our belief of why this occurred.
Speculation isn't enough to bring murder charges, but investigators do find a way to keep Tyrone behind bars.
Because Mr. Rosa was on parole at the time, and he was a suspect in a homicide, his parole was violated, so he's remanded to custody.
Investigators keep close tabs on Tyrone. The day after his arrest, he makes a phone call from jail to Mariano's brother.
We already said he wasn't close to him, so why are you calling this guy if you don't really associate with him? So that, obviously, we knew he was lying.
That's not all. He asks Mariano's brother for a favor.
He also started telling this guy to destroy his phone, which is like, if you have no involvement in it, why are you telling someone to destroy their phones?
In late December 2014, police in Hartford, Connecticut are holding Tyrone Rosa in connection with the shooting death of 23-year-old Hiram Martinez. Detectives believe that Tyrone killed Hiram in retaliation for the death of his friend, Mariano Gonzalez.
He denied shooting Mr. Jimenez or Mr. Martinez. He said, I never went with them to the car.
But the day after Tyrone is taken into custody, he makes a jailhouse phone call to Mariano's brother, requesting that he tell a man named CL to destroy his phone. Investigators want to know why. They track down CL.
He was on probation for a gun arrest, so we interviewed him at his probation office.
CL admits he was with Tyrone that night.
He's friends with Tyrone Rosa, and he was with Mr. Rosa at the after-hours club prior to the incident.
Eventually, Tyrone left the club.
He just went, didn't know where he went. Mr. Rosa didn't tell him.
Then, around 5:30 a.m., minutes after the shooting would have taken place, CL called Tyrone to ask him where he had gone. Tyrone didn't say, but asked CL to pick him up at a location near Colt Park.
He went and picked him up near the crime scene. I don't even think he knew what Mr. Rosa did, because I asked him all that and he just picked him up and was doing him a favor.
CL's statement appears to contradict what Tyrone told detectives.
Mr. Rosa denied, obviously, being in that car, so if you weren't in that car, you're not being picked up by the crime scene. We found the guy who picked him up by the crime scene.
In order to charge Tyrone with murder, investigators need more. They need evidence. They hope the vehicle in which Hiram and DJ were shot might give them just that.
We obtain a search warrant to process that car. The crime scene division will process it, and they'll look for all different kinds of physical evidence: DNA, fingerprints, shell casings, firearms, anything that's in there that we ask them to look for. They found a fingerprint on the inside rear door handle, which it's actually pretty rare to get a usable fingerprint. But they did recover a fingerprint, and that print later did hit to Tyrone Rosa.
Now they know what he told them about not being anywhere near the crime scene, not still being in the car, was not true. They placed Tyrone at the scene of the murder.
Though it doesn't prove he pulled the trigger, the fingerprint is the final piece of evidence investigators need to bring Tyrone Rosa one important step closer to justice.
With that positive ID, with the physical evidence to support it, that was enough.
At this point, the lead investigator will take all this information and compile it into an arrest warrant, and that's exactly what he did.
On February 18th, 2015, nearly 2 months after Hiram Martinez and DJ Jimenez were shot, Tyrone Rosa is charged with murder, first-degree assault, and criminal gun possession.
Mr. Rosa was arrested for the murder of one gentleman, assault on another gentleman.
He was already remanded to custody because he was on parole, so he's in jail already.
But will prosecutors be able to keep him there?
Throughout the court proceedings, he maintained his innocence. He said, "Someone killed him, but it wasn't me."
On February 2nd, 2015, in Hartford Superior Court, Tyrone Rosa goes on trial for the murder of Hiram Martinez and the assault of DJ Jimenez. In court, Tyrone is stoic.
He was very calm and didn't seem nervous or excited. He's kind of a low energy type of guy.
Prosecutors argue that Tyrone was out for revenge after Hiram told him that he killed Mariano Gonzalez.
The claim was that Mr. Rosa had killed this one gentleman for revenge for a friend of his that had been killed. My client gave a very different version. There was this unknown third person who my client says put a gun to his head and presumably committed the shooting.
There was one young man who really had this expectation of himself to do what was right or what was considered the admirable thing to do and avenge the death of his good friend, his friend's brother. There's no alternative other than to take the same lethal action that was used against the person that you loved.
DJ takes the stand as the state's star witness. He walks the jury through details of Mariano's murder, according to what Hiram told him.
Hiram met up with Mariano Gonzalez on Bond Street in Hartford. He was supposed to buy a gun. DJ says, changed his mind. Now Hiram doesn't want to buy the gun. Mariano was basically set on selling this gun. You're buying this gun. And that's when everything went wrong.
Mariano Gonzalez had actually threatened Hiram Martinez's family.
Hiram has a 3-year-old child and a significant other that clearly he cared about very much. So when someone threatened to wipe out his family, this did not sit the right way. DJ says that's when Hiram told him that he killed Mariano Gonzalez in cold blood.
A week later at the club, when Tyrone Rosa learned that Hiram killed Mariano, Tyrone then set his sights on Hiram. On the stand, DJ recalls the chilling moment that claimed his best friend's life.
Tyrone got out to use the bathroom. They didn't think anything of that, and as he got back in the car, DJ claims he heard a loud bang. covered his ears, realized it was a shooting, got out and ran. At that point, he realized he had been shot as well.
As the defense gets underway, Tyrone Rosa takes the stand.
He admitted to lying to police, and the reason why he lied was because he was on parole and didn't want his parole remanded.
Tyrone admits he did drive around with DJ and Hiram that night.
The police found my client's fingerprints in the car. My client didn't dispute having been in the car. Everybody agreed that he had been in the car. The question was he the shooter?
But Tyrone insists he was not.
There was no forensic evidence that directly tied my client to the shooting. They didn't find the murder weapon, for example. They didn't find any DNA on anything that directly linked my client to the murder. So the lack of that sort of evidence made the trial a credibility contest.
Tyrone offers up what he claims is the truth about what happened that night.
My client testified that while he was urinating, somebody came up behind him, put a gun to his head, and told him, "Don't move. This isn't about you." And then he heard a couple gunshots. Went back to the car where the deceased and Mr. Jimenez were, saw that the deceased had been shot, and took off running.
He basically denied being the person to pull the trigger, and he said it was somebody else who he couldn't identify who was responsible for the murder. He didn't provide any information as far as description or who might have been the person who did this.
Once all the testimony was heard in court, it was up to the jurors to decide this case. It didn't take them long before they came back, and on February 14th, their verdict was guilty.
At sentencing, Tyrone shows no remorse and continues to claim innocence.
And to this day, he's still saying that he's innocent.
The judge sees things differently.
He spoke of the senseless cycle of violence, the tragic nature in which a domino effect happened with these crimes that led to a payback. And Tyrone Rosa was about to pay.
Mr. Rosa was sentenced to 55 years for the murder of Mr. Martinez, and he got an additional 15 years for shooting Mr. Jimenez.
For investigators, this was a relief. They had a conviction. Tyrone Papone Rosa. But remember, there were two crimes here. The payback was preceded by the murder of Mariano Gonzalez.
There was a witness that, in fact, saw the shooter go through the victim's pockets. DNA testing was done from the victim's pockets, and the recovered DNA evidence actually came back to Hiram Martinez.
Not only did we have the story now of Hiram Martinez telling DJ that he did commit the crime in the murder of Mariano Gonzalez, but DNA evidence confirmed it.
Closed cases cannot fill the holes left by loved ones who will never return.
Even if you do arrest somebody and
Years after her first marriage failed, she finally found true love.
She found her Prince Charming.
This is the win she was looking for.
She hoped to live happily ever after.
But ever after wasn't all that long.
They stabbed my wife.
She was assaulted by a panhandler.
The last thing you expect is for someone to pull out a knife.
The unprovoked attack triggers a citywide manhunt and a media frenzy.
It's all over the news.
It had everything that a sensational story would need.
Even Oprah commented on it.
But was it really an act of random violence?
This crime was so shocking.
It was a horrifying, horrifying experience.
What's evil in this world, man?
Or was it cold-blooded murder?
Something just wasn't right.
The car was never there.
I didn't know who he was anymore.
December 1st, 2018. It's just after midnight on a chilly Saturday in Baltimore, Maryland, also known as Charm City.
It's known as Charm City for a reason. There's culture, there's food, there's music. It's an amazing town.
But it's also a troubled one.
Baltimore's a dangerous city. There really is no denying that there's a problem with homicides, shootings, carjackings, armed robberies.
Baltimore has been on the top 10 list of violent crimes for a number of years, unfortunately.
And this bleak winter morning, it looks as if the city some call Bodymore Murderland is about to claim another victim.
Baltimore City 911.
I got a serious emergency.
The caller is 52-year-old Keith Smith.
Some panhandler just stabbed my wife.
Please.
He says they'd been driving down the street in East Baltimore when his wife, 54-year-old Jacqueline Smith, saw a woman with a baby begging on a street corner.
When Jacqueline spotted the baby, she asked him to pull over.
My wife tried to give us some money, and a guy came over, and he started stabbing my wife.
He's completely shocked.
They snatched her pocketbook and snatched her necklace off her neck.
And then they were gone.
I jumped out the car and they ran.
Okay, sir, you're still at the location right now, right?
I'm heading to the hospital.
He's hysterical, and he's trying to get his wife help.
I'm gonna go to Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is only a few blocks away, has one of the best trauma centers in the country.
While Keith's adult daughter tends to Jacqueline from the back seat, the dispatcher directs Keith to the emergency room.
You should better pull straight up and they'll be able to help you out.
But only if they're able to make it in time.
How's your wife doing?
She's not talking, man. She's not talking. She's not talking, man. Oh, my God. You stabbed her.
54-year-old Jacqueline Smith had always been a generous and compassionate woman.
She's a very giving person, a very kind person.
It's a Bible-believing Christian woman.
She was very involved in the church.
She was also an accomplished career woman.
Jacqueline Smith was a graduate of North Carolina A&T University, where she majored in engineering.
She's working as an electrical engineer, making good money.
She was just someone who a lot of people respected and wanted to be around.
Good morning, Jacqueline.
The only hitch in her life was the failure of her marriage, but she didn't let that stop her.
Okay.
Jacqueline is someone that has progressed in her career. She's been able to manage raising 2 children successfully, even getting past the trauma of divorce and successfully rise to the top.
That first dance soon led to a first date, and then another.
They had a lot of different things in common.
They both had grown children who were entering adulthood themselves.
And like Jacqueline, Keith was eager to make a fresh start.
Later on in your years, you don't want to wait too long to start a new relationship. So shortly after, about 3 months later, he's proposing to her on Christmas Eve.
Oh, there's one more thing that I had.
Okay.
I know it hasn't been long, but just wondering if you would.
Sometimes a quick proposal can give you pause, but not for Jacqueline.
This is the win that she was looking for.
Keith moved into Jacqueline's townhouse in suburban Baltimore, and they began building a life together.
This is the moment that Jacqueline has been working hard towards. She is happy and content.
She's feeling like her prayers were answered, you could say.
But now Keith is driving through East Baltimore, desperate for help, as Jacqueline bleeds out in the seat beside him.
Oh, my God. Hey, freaking stab her.
His wife, being the kind-hearted woman she was, rolled down her window to give some panhandlers some money. And the panhandler reaches inside the car, robs her, and then starts stabbing her violently.
It happened so damn fast.
After the stabbing, the dispatcher guides Keith to Johns Hopkins University Hospital.
If you're making a right on the Wolf, the Hopkins is on your right when you get down there at, it should be Orleans.
Okay, I see it now. I see it.
But finding the hospital doesn't mean the crisis is over.
It is a big, big campus. It's not like a small country hospital. We are talking many blocks, many buildings.
Anyone, even in their right mind and calm, is going to have difficulty finding the exact entrance of the building.
I'm in the wrong side.
Keith is frantic.
Finally, after several agonizing minutes circling the sprawling medical complex, Keith manages to find the ER.
Please, I need help. My wife just got stabbed by some panhandler. She's in the car.
Then, as the ER staff rushed Jacqueline inside, Keith broke down completely.
Oh my God, baby. Hold on, baby. Hold on, baby.
54-year-old electrical engineer Jacqueline Smith had finally found happiness with her second husband, Keith.
She was looking for love second time around, and she was able to find that love.
It just looks like the perfect setup for both of these people that are in their 50s finally finding love and making this thing work.
But now, in the early morning hours of December 1st, 2018, Keith has just rushed Jacqueline to a Baltimore hospital.
Hold on, Jackie, hold on. Help! Help! Help us! Hold on, baby.
Come on, please hurry.
Please, please.
They pulled over so Jacqueline could give money to a panhandler. And when she rolled the window down, the man who was with a woman attacked Jacqueline.
All right, man. Jackie, hold on, Jackie. Oh, God.
Nurses at the ER immediately rush her into emergency surgery.
What is going to happen to the love of his life?
By 1 a.m., he has the answer.
The nurse came back out to talk to Keith, and he could tell by the look on her face, it was not good news.
We did everything we could for her.
No.
I'm so sorry.
No.
There was nothing they could do.
When Keith sits down with Baltimore homicide detectives several hours later, he's still trying to contain his grief.
I'm sorry.
He's playing it over and over in his mind, blaming himself, and the tears just stream down his face.
You didn't do anything wrong, okay? I should have known. You can't blame yourself for this.
Once Keith regains his composure, he walks the investigators through what happened.
He and Jacqueline had gone to East Baltimore to celebrate his daughter Valeria's birthday.
They went to dinner at the VFW. They were enjoying themselves.
We had a beautiful time, man.
He says it was almost midnight when they left the VFW and headed east towards Valeria's home.
They were giving her a ride before they headed back to their home in Aberdeen.
According to Keith, while they were driving, his wife spots a panhandler.
We stopped at the stop sign. There's a girl over there.
She's holding a sign that says, "Can't feed my baby, need help."
She was holding the baby, and I was like, wow, how you gonna be out here with a baby this late at night?
He described a woman in her 20s, somebody who might have been addicted to drugs.
Not that it mattered to Jacqueline.
He said Jacqueline was so moved and troubled by this that she wanted to give her some money.
Look, pull over. Okay. Hey, sweetie, how are you?
She called the girl over.
Here, God bless you, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, the guy just walked over. Yeah, man, can I thank your wife, man?
He described a man in his 30s who was wearing a heavy jacket with a goatee.
But according to Keith, when the man leaned in the window, it wasn't to say thank you.
The man grabbed her necklace, grabbed her wallet, and began stabbing her.
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it.
He doesn't know what to do.
What did the knife look like? If you could tell, I know these things happen so quickly.
I don't even know.
That's okay. That's okay.
I don't even know.
So you just saw the motion.
He's not able to describe the murder weapon for the police.
When the stabbing occurred, what happened next? Did they just start running?
He snapped the necklace off and grabbed a pocketbook and ran.
That was about all the information the detectives were going to get from Keith.
There were no weapons. No weapons, man.
He starts to break down in front of the officers again.
I should have pulled it off. I should have pulled it off. I should have never let her did that, man.
In those moments, you're thinking, I'm the husband. I'm supposed to protect my wife, and I wasn't able to do that.
All right, we're going to talk to your daughter real quick, then we can get you guys home, okay?
They're just trying to get as much information as they can, as quickly as they can, to aid their investigation.
When the detectives follow up with Keith's daughter, Valeria, her account corroborates her father's.
This girl came up to the car, she was asking for money, and I wasn't paying no mind. It wasn't until this guy came over that it caught my attention.
She was able to see everything that happened to her stepmother.
He came to the car and he was like, yeah, thank you, ma'am, and just started stabbing her. And it was literally 2 seconds, and they were gone. She was just laying there, she's like, it was just terrible.
However, in addition to confirming her father's story, Valeria also offers up a clue that may help find the killers.
She has seen which way the attackers ran.
She's pretty sure they ran off toward the basketball courts.
She thought they were headed to the Latrobe homes.
That's the project right there.
According to Jacqueline Smith's stepdaughter, the panhandlers who stabbed the 54-year-old electrical engineer fled in the direction of a Baltimore housing project.
One of the things about traumatic incidents, people can have different perceptions of what actually occurred. But in this particular scenario, you had a rather consistent story, so detectives felt like they had some pretty good leads.
However, before heading to the housing project, the detectives have Keith Smith's car towed to the crime lab.
They take the vehicle to search for DNA and other clues as to what exactly occurred that evening.
Then the detectives stop for a look at the street corner where the deadly encounter occurred.
Valley and Chase is in a community with mostly vacant homes. There aren't a lot of people there.
This isn't a typical area where people come to ask for money or food.
But is it the ideal place for an ambush?
Not only were there no witnesses around, the corner wasn't covered by any of the police surveillance cameras.
The detectives spend a few minutes combing the area for evidence.
They're looking for a murder weapon. They're looking for some signs that says there was a struggle.
They were also hoping to find Jacqueline's purse.
Oftentimes, criminals want to get rid of it, get what you can out of it as quickly as possible, then discard it.
Unable to find a discarded knife or purse, the detectives make their way to the Latrobe Homes housing project.
The almost 700-unit complex, built in the 1940s, is one of Baltimore's oldest public housing developments.
They canvassed the area, asking questions. They did not find anyone that matched the description that Valeria and Keith gave of the two people.
Reviewing the housing authority's security footage from the night of the stabbing also fails to turn up anyone fitting the suspect's description.
Maybe she got it wrong, and they weren't heading toward the projects.
Latrobe Homes an apparent dead end, the detectives try a different approach.
They put a trace on Jacqueline's credit cards.
While the detectives search for Jacqueline's killers, Her murder becomes big news in Baltimore.
There's lots of media attention, a media frenzy. It's all over the news, and it's really beginning to cause concern for the community.
This is a crime where anyone could have been a victim. That's what was so scary to the community. Often, homicides will happen in the city because somebody is involved in illegal activity, but panhandling, that's something that any citizen could fall victim to by simply trying to help someone.
It really created a level of fear in the community that wasn't existent previously.
The fear only amplifies after the story goes from local tragedy to national headline.
Oprah Winfrey got hold of this story and she retweeted it to her 40 million plus followers on Twitter.
She's given out money to panhandlers thousands of times, but now she's going to think twice about whether she rolls down that window. That's the impact that it had across the country.
You have people from all over viewing these people who need help as dangerous.
We have been socialized to have a fear of unhoused individuals. And this story played into those fears.
Much of the media's attention centers on Keith.
He's doing a lot of press. He's talking to the media about what happened, and he's trying to get action.
He believes that the panhandlers are the reason that he's lost the love of his life, and he wants something done about it.
This is a husband who wants to make sure no other family experiences what they've experienced.
He wanted there to be a law passed against panhandling in the city.
He wants to name it Jacqueline's Law.
As the debate about panhandlers rages, the Baltimore police may be on the verge of catching Jacqueline's killer.
Yes, ma'am. Can I help you?
A couple of days into this investigation, police received what they believe is a great lead.
The same day that Oprah tweets about the case, a woman approaches an officer sitting in his patrol car outside a Baltimore shopping center.
The woman comes forward saying that she had been calling the tip line but couldn't get through.
She's been trying to get through to let them know, hey, look, I've got a potential lead in this case.
The panhandler murder?
Yeah, that panhandler.
Okay.
I believe I know who did it, and it wasn't no panhandler.
She believed a gentleman by the name of Damon Booth could be responsible.
The woman tells the officer that Damon Booth has been committing armed robberies in the Latrobe Homes area.
Latrobe Homes, of course, was the housing project that the killers were heading toward after the murders.
And that's not the only thing to suggest the tipster may be right.
And does Damon live in Latrobe Homes?
No, he doesn't live there, but his girlfriend lives there.
Okay.
She lives in the housing project with her mom.
Is this the couple that set up Jacqueline and committed this murder?
Baltimore police have received what appears to be a credible tip that the so-called panhandler who stabbed Jacqueline Smith is actually a petty thief named Damon Booth.
Police further learned from this tipster that Damon Booth has a girlfriend, and the girlfriend happens to live in Latrobe Homes.
Latrobe Homes was the housing project that was a few blocks away from the East Baltimore Street corner where the murder occurred.
Putting two and two together, you have a woman who was posing on the corner with this baby and a guy who comes up from the shadows and commits this crime, and they both flee towards Latrobe Homes.
Everything about the couple fits what Jacqueline's husband, Keith, and the daughter told detectives about the murder.
This is sounding like we're getting very close to cracking this case.
Thanks, officer. Appreciate it. Thanks.
When detectives pull Damon's rap sheet, it looks like they're even closer.
They find out that he does have a criminal record and that he spent 5 years in prison for armed robbery.
Reviewing the details of his armed robbery conviction also raises a big red flag for detectives.
He, in fact, held a knife to someone's throat.
Once the knife comes up, now they're really looking into him.
They may have found the culprit.
When detectives bring Booth in for questioning, he denies any involvement in Jacqueline's murder.
He'd said, I wasn't even in the area. I don't know what you're talking about.
I never even heard of this woman.
Her murder's all over the news.
Man, I don't even watch TV.
Damon did admit that his girlfriend lived in Latrobe Homes, but he never went to her apartment.
Why's that?
Her mom. She don't like me.
Damon tells investigators that he's not welcome around his girlfriend Tanya's home.
According to Damon, that's why he was nowhere near the crime scene when the stabbing occurred.
We got a room in a motel out on Pulaski Highway.
Which motel?
I forgot the name. It's just past Holland Avenue.
If Damon was telling the truth, that was more than 2 miles from the crime scene.
You were there all night?
Yeah, I was.
Damon tells the investigators that Tanya went to get food around 10 o'clock, but that was it. Otherwise, they were in the motel for the remainder of that evening.
You're free to go.
When detectives bring Damon's girlfriend Tanya in for questioning, she confirms their alibi.
She says she only left out once that night to get something to eat.
I walked like a block down the road to get some food.
What time was that?
About 10.
They give a consistent story.
Detectives were not about to take their word for it, though.
Thank you.
After talking to Tanya, they follow up at the motel where they supposedly spent the night.
Detectives are able to look at surveillance video. They're able to check the guest registry.
The footage corroborates Damon and Tanya's story. It shows them checking in, and it does not show Damon checking out until the following morning.
There's no way they were going to be able to be over at Valley and Chase where this murder occurred.
They may fit the description, but they were nowhere near that crime scene.
Their hot tip turns out to be a dud, and the forensic results from Keith's car are equally disappointing.
When the investigators get the forensics back, there are no fingerprints belonging to anyone other than Keith, Valeria, and Jacqueline.
Now, that's not completely unusual because we're talking about someone who reached inside the car, snatched the necklace, snatched the purse, and stabbed her to death.
So, of course, there wouldn't be any fingerprints inside of the car.
But just when the investigation is running out of steam, things heat up.
The investigators get notified that someone made 3 charges on Jacqueline's credit cards.
They traced the use of the card to 3 juveniles.
Obviously, none of the kids fit the description of Jacqueline's killers.
So how do they end up with her credit cards?
They say they found her purse at a local bus stop.
Knowing nothing about the murder, they'd taken the credit card that was left inside the purse and gone on a spending spree.
After talking to the kids, the detectives head to the bus stop where they reported finding the purse.
That wasn't far from the scene of the crime.
Suspecting the killers passed by the bus stop as they fled the scene, the detectives pull footage from the various city surveillance cameras along the most likely routes.
They're looking at numerous surveillance videos, 27 different cameras.
You kind of can string together things. They might not necessarily point to a specific area, but there is no doubt within a couple blocks, you're going to run across a city watch camera.
As the detectives review the footage from the night of the murder, they once again hit a dead end.
There's no one in any of the footage that matches the description of the perpetrators described by Keith and his daughter Valeria.
However, as they review footage from closer to the crime scene, they notice something else.
None of the video footage reflects Keith's car being in the vicinity.
We're talking about 27 cameras, and the car doesn't show up anywhere.
It was not even along the route from the crime scene to the hospital.
None of the surveillance footage corroborates their story.
After scouring hours of video surveillance looking for the panhandlers who allegedly killed Jacqueline Smith and stole her purse, detectives have made a surprising discovery.
Not only was there no footage of the killers, there was no footage of her husband's car.
The entire route, investigators checked the cameras and were unable at any point to see Keith, Valeria, their vehicle, or either panhandler.
Had Keith and his daughter Valeria simply made a mistake about the route they took to the hospital?
Maybe they get one street mixed up with another.
Or was there another possibility?
Maybe they were lying about this whole thing.
Oh my God, he stabbed her.
Detectives figure there's one way to find out the truth.
Investigators obtained warrants for Keith and Valeria's cell phones, the GPS data, as well as Google data.
And the data suggests that Keith and his daughter have been lying to detectives.
Valeria's cell phone was pinging northwest in Druid Park.
The direct route to her apartment from BFW Hall, where they had dinner, didn't go anywhere near the park.
Investigators were able to determine that Keith and Valeria and Jacqueline were at Druid Hill Park for at least 12 to 16 minutes.
But what were they doing during that time?
Druid Hill Park isn't a place normally where an individual would pull over or stop at in the middle of the night.
It's a perfect place to commit a crime.
Hoping to learn why Keith might want to kill his wife, the detectives quietly reach out to the couple's relatives.
When they talked to Keith's brother, they found a possible motive.
He revealed to detectives that Jacqueline Smith was unhappy.
Jacqueline had been talking about divorce.
A divorce would be a serious hit to Keith's lifestyle.
Jacqueline was the primary breadwinner, and the house was in Jacqueline's name. So Keith had everything to lose if Jacqueline was to walk away from him.
But if she died, Keith had a lot to gain.
It turns out that Jacqueline has a life insurance policy that would pay out a significant amount to Keith.
The detectives found that Keith was already making inquiries about a payout.
After learning of the pending divorce and the possible insurance motive, the detectives make Keith and his daughter the sole focus of their investigation.
The detectives got a court order for a tap on both of their cell phones.
Then the detectives turn up the heat by bringing Keith in for another round of questioning.
They inquire about the life insurance and Keith's interest in the proceeds.
He talks about needing the insurance payment for burial costs.
Do they cover it? The funeral and all that? It's going to get covered.
He gets emotional.
I wouldn't wish this on anybody, man. She's my soulmate.
Detectives don't confront him and let him know that they know he's lying and that his story does not add up. Instead, they bring Valeria back in for another interview.
Questioned by detectives, she repeats the story of how her stepmother was stabbed by a panhandler.
I've never seen anything like that before. That was the worst day of my life.
She didn't know it yet, but she was about to have another bad day.
Detectives confront her with what they know.
What would you say if I tell you your phone had you in Druid Hill Park for a substantial amount of time?
I don't know. I must have been asleep.
The detectives aren't buying it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. We know that's bull.
Though Valeria must know that the detectives know more than what they've disclosed, Valeria doesn't break.
I don't appreciate being called a liar.
She stops the interview.
A lawyer. Okay, all right. Because this is crazy.
Invoking her right to seek an attorney suggests that she knows that she could be in criminal trouble.
The question is, what is her next move?
Detectives were hoping that she'd panic and contact her father about the police interview.
Investigators are listening to their conversations on a wiretap.
Authorities discovered that Keith and Valeria had rented a vehicle.
And the detectives have a pretty good idea where they're headed.
Detectives alert Texas authorities to ensure that Keith and Valeria do not flee the U.S.
Keith and his daughter Valeria are arrested in Texas, very close to the Mexico border.
Hands up, look forward, turn around, turn around.
Now all the authorities have to do is prove Keith did kill Jacqueline. And they get one step closer when shortly after Keith and his daughter are extradited back to Maryland, Valeria's attorneys reach out to the prosecutors.
She wants to cut a deal.
This was potentially a huge break for the prosecutors.
Valeria's testimony could be the key to convicting her father of murder. So when the detectives and prosecutors sit down with her, they make it clear what they want.
What we're trying to do is figure out the truth of exactly what happened to Jacqueline Smith on the night of December 1st, 2018.
Yes. She agrees to not leave anything out and to tell the truth to the best of her recollection.
Although she claims her memory of that night is a little hazy.
I was doing drugs and I was drinking.
But she does remember one thing clearly.
My father stabbed her.
Jacqueline Smith's stepdaughter, Valeria, has just told police and prosecutors that it wasn't a knife-wielding panhandler who killed the 54-year-old engineer. Instead, she says it was her father, Keith Smith.
Rode to a park, and while we were in the park, my father stabbed her.
But she claims that she didn't have anything to do with the murder.
Valeria told police that she did not know what her father's plans were that evening.
According to Valeria, she thought they were just going out to celebrate her birthday.
Keith and Jacqueline had taken her to the VFW American Legion for her birthday.
She could tell something wasn't right between Jacqueline and her father.
It definitely felt like it was like some tension.
But did she suspect that there could be a murder committed that evening? Not at all.
After leaving the VFW, she says she barely noticed when her dad took a detour to Druid Hill Park.
She says she wasn't paying attention. She was on her phone.
The car slowed down, and that's when I noticed that we were, in like the woods or whatever.
According to Valeria, Jacqueline never even noticed that much.
She states that Jacqueline had dozed off.
And while Jacqueline was still asleep, that's when she saw her father pull out a knife.
No! I seen him reach and stab her.
Okay. And you're making a motion as
like
his right hand.
Yeah, she's sitting right here, and he stabbed her like this.
Because she was asleep, Jacqueline didn't know what hit her. She gasped, and then it was over.
Did you see how many times he stabbed her?
I don't remember how many times he stabbed her. I wasn't really even trying to, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
She was stunned.
I just was just sitting there. I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
And I was just looking at him like he just looked like I didn't know who he was anymore.
What did you do, Dad? Get out of the car!
And when he told me to get out the car, I was scared.
She said she was afraid that her father was going to kill her next.
Instead, he gave her an ultimatum.
She says her father said to her, I'm going to make up a story, and you need to go along with it, or else we're both going to go to jail.
Calm down, calm down. We pulled up, we gave them money, and the panhandler did it. Look at me. You want me to go to jail? You want to go to jail?
She was panicked, in a bad state from the drugs. She agreed to go along with it.
Then, as they drove to the hospital, Keith called 911 and gave the operator the story he'd worked out.
I believe he's going to stab my wife. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Was he crying before he called 911?
No.
She says they got rid of the knife and threw it down a storm drain the night of the murder.
She also admitted she ditched Jacqueline's purse at the bus stop a few days after the murder.
He asked me to get rid of it, but to put it somewhere where someone would find it, because he wanted somebody to use their card so it would look like a real panhandler did it.
When Keith goes on trial in December of 2021, his daughter is the prosecution's star witness.
When his daughter came into the courtroom to testify, it was as if she didn't even really want to look at him.
Valeria's statements were very damning to Keith.
But was the prosecution's star witness also their greatest weakness?
The defense bring up the fact that she's a drug addict. She has a history of lying, and she's only doing this to get herself off.
They attacked her for not turning in her father before they actually got caught.
The defense also didn't put Keith on the stand to refute anything or to tell his version of the story.
Will smearing Keith's daughter be enough to secure her father's acquittal?
In the end, the jury found Keith guilty of murder.
The judge sentenced him to life in prison.
The family felt justice had been served.
You want to go to jail?
But Keith Smith wasn't alone that night.
Valeria pleads guilty to being an accessory after the fact and gets 5 years in prison.
The prosecution needed her testimony to put Keith away.
And there's no doubt it was Keith who killed the woman he'd promised to love.
Jacqueline Smith never thought it would be her husband who would take her life.
And he brought his own daughter in on it and destroyed his own family and destroyed another family as a result.
However, they weren't the only ones who...
Someone there? What are you doing?
It was December the 19th, 2014, and we got a call about a person deceased inside of a home on Madrona Street, located over in northwest Atlanta.
Some of the houses in this neighborhood were well kept, but this particular house on Madrona Street and other houses close by were falling apart.
At this point, we were 14 years in homicide. We were the old heads of the unit. So when this call came in, we headed right over to the crime scene to see if there was anything we can do to help the lead detective.
What's up, TJ?
Hey guys, it's rough from here. The body's in the back.
We were up to the scene on Madrona Street. It's looking like we're gonna be here all day. I can only imagine by looking at the outside, what's the inside gonna look like? Because outside looked kind of wretched.
Oh man, he wasn't joking. This place looked like it came out of central casting for a horror movie. There was trash everywhere, rat droppings, roaches, everything you could imagine. It made my skin crawl.
Over here. I'm right behind you.
As we go into this structure even deeper, we go to the back to meet up with lead detective Scott Dorsey.
Damn, Dorsey. What'd you get us into?
It's new one for me, man.
Is this how the body was found?
Yep.
What we see is a body in the middle of the floor, laid out. Arms stretched out, legs stretched out, a pillow over this person's face, and a sheet covering the rest of the body.
We got a pillow over the face. Could be a personal connection between the deceased and the killer.
A lot of times when killers are killing their victim that they know, That image is in their face, and then they don't want to see that face again. And that's why they cover it.
You ready?
We see clearly that this is a white female.
What sticks out and is glaring, there's duct tape wrapped around her face.
And we remove the sheet. I notice there's a pillow propped up underneath this victim's hips. This clearly looks like a sexual assault.
Make sure we get some DNA samples.
We're thinking we probably are going to get DNA. We're looking at her fingers. We're looking at a sexual assault kit. Anything that this killer may have left behind. Hair, sweat, semen. We're hoping for the best.
So I see some bruises around their necks. Probably strangulation.
Somebody did a number on this lady.
She's got multiple contusions and bruises. It looks like some kind of struggle ensued.
What are you doing? Stop it!
She may have been fighting for her life before her clothes even came off.
Not a lot of decomp.
Yeah, I put the murder within a couple days.
This may be a fresh homicide. This may put us on the trail of a killer a lot sooner.
Yo, look at this place. What was she even doing here?
My mind is just clocking items. There's so many things in this room. I don't know what is relevant. I don't know what is connected to this case and what is not.
There's a lot to sift through here, man.
As I'm scanning around the room, I notice a closet door.
Yo, check that out.
And inscribed on the door, it says, "Look, bitch, I'm gone."
Is that blood?
No, that's marker.
This has to be related, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're thinking the killer could have left this message because of our victim or to our victim. There's got to be a connection somehow.
Captain Dorsey, we got a witness outside.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'll join you. Anything to get some fresh air.
I call 911.
Why's that?
It's my place.
She identifies herself as Ebony. She says she's actually the homeowner.
It's usually vacant, but they always keep breaking into it.
She's done her best to secure it, but junkies, addicts, and transients just come and go like it's an open door.
So the suspect could be anybody.
According to Ebony, she showed up today just to check on her property, came upon the body, and immediately dialed 911.
All right, when was the last time you were on these premises before today?
A few weeks ago.
You know anyone who comes here?
Sometimes my son or my ex-husband.
She says her son's name is Ordendrick Johnson, and her former husband's name is Maurice Johnson.
How do we get in touch with them?
I don't know where they stay or how to reach them.
Dorsey decides he's gonna take Ebony down to homicide, lock her into a tight timeline, a really good statement, because right now, she's our first real witness. We gotta get her on paper.
Yo, Vinny, what do you got?
Still working.
At this point, we've been on the crime scene for 5 hours. There's no electricity in this house. It's dark. We have to set up external lighting. And we still have a lot of stuff that we have to process.
Anybody check this closet?
It occurred to me that the closet door that had the writing on it, observed earlier, we hadn't looked inside yet. As I walk up to the closet, I realized this closet door is nailed shut. And if it's nailed shut, it's got to be something inside this closet. So I wiggle this nail out of the door. And as I slowly open this door, this smell hits me like a gigantic boxing glove in my face. I've smelled this before. It's death. I see clearly human feet protruding from a pile of clothing in the corner of this closet.
Got another body.
This case just became a double homicide.
This investigation becomes one of the most bizarre we've ever worked.
I want to report a crime at this house.
How many more bodies are we gonna find?
You're not gonna believe this.
There was way more to this case than meets the eye.
To solve these murders,
He's released from jail right before the murders happened.
we'll need to continue down a path laced with violence.
I've seen her before.
He had a history of assaulting women.
In the end,
What's his name? Murder Man.
revealing the killer's true identity
Just a few more questions.
If we catch you in a lie, it's all over.
leaves us speechless.
Is this some kind of serial killer just getting started?
Damn, Dorsey. What'd you get us into?
It's new one for me, man.
We are assisting Detective Scott Dorsey, who is investigating the murder of an unidentified woman found inside an abandoned home in northwest Atlanta. There's duct tape wrapped around her face. She's got multiple contusions and bruises.
Probably strangulation.
This is one of the most gruesome scenes I'd ever come across.
While finishing up the scene, we make a shocking discovery.
What you got there?
Ooh. This scene was creepy enough.
Got another body.
And now that we have a second body inside the closet, this thing has really got us on edge.
Appears to be a white female. I won't know until I do an autopsy.
I'm riding on Vince's shoulders as the ME and Vince are trying to, assess what they have here in terms of evidence.
How long do you think this body has been here?
About 4 months, maybe longer.
This body is so decomposed, it's skeletonized. And once we get all the clothing removed, we're shocked at what we see. This victim has rope wrapped around her legs, wrapped around her arms, and most importantly, there's a rope wrapped around her neck.
My God.
This is crazy. Like, this is literally a kill house. Detective Dorsey returns to the crime scene and we bring him up to speed.
So it appears we have 2 white women, likely murdered the same way.
Yeah, there has to be a connection, man.
Is this just a dumping ground? What's going on?
We gotta ID these Jane Does, because I'm certain the killer knew both of them. Let's do another sweep of this place. Think there might be more?
Maybe.
We didn't find any more bodies, but as we're leaving the house, a witness comes forward.
We see an old man standing there. His name is Thomas Allen.
Hey, can you tell me anything about what y'all are doing?
Why are you so curious?
Thomas tells us the word on the street there's a body inside. He wants to know, could it be his friend, who he hadn't seen in a while, that sometimes frequents this house?
Who's your friend?
Heather Camp.
What's she look like?
White girl, like 30, brown hair.
We're listening to this description that Thomas Allen has given us, and we're saying this could be our fresh victim.
When's the last time you saw her?
4 days ago.
He says it was December 15th, about 1 o'clock in the morning. And what's most important about what he said next was she's actually walking towards Madrona Street.
Is there anything else you can share about Heather?
No. We give Thomas Allen our contact info, tell him to call us at any time should he find any other information about what happened over here.
We need to see what else the neighborhood knows, all right? Let's canvass.
We start knocking on some other doors, and we find no one else can give us any kind of substantive evidence or anything relating to what we found in the house.
Yeah, so
Hey, Ben and Quinn. Y'all got a visit.
When Quinn and I get back to the office, there's a guy waiting on us, a guy named Andre Williams.
What's going on, man?
You guys work in the Madrona case?
That's right.
I may know something about the dead girl.
Andre Williams says that 3 days earlier, he was driving down Madrona Street when this guy that he knows is flagging him down.
Hey, what's his name?
Murder Man.
I've heard every nickname you could think of in my career up to this point, but I've never heard anybody named Murder Man.
We were right there in front of the house, and he was trying to get me to buy a cell phone from him.
He's gonna give the phone to Andre for $10, and then he'll get it back later for $20. That's called a street pawn.
And you took the phone?
Yeah.
Andre Williams says they've transacted money before in the past, and he was always good on debts.
But I never used it.
The only problem was he didn't get the passcode before Murder Man got away from him, and had been looking for him the last couple of days trying to get his loot back.
The phone is locked.
Come on, man. We don't fix phones.
That's not why I'm here.
It's a picture of a white female, and Quinn and I look at each other and we clearly know the photo on this phone is the same woman that we found sprawled out in this den of horrors on Madrona Street.
That's Heather.
Heather Camp?
Yeah.
Hope is not my friend.
Who's your friend?
Heather Camp.
Let's have their cell phone.
So far, we've got Heather Camp identified by 2 different people. And now we got a person saying Murder Man basically pawned her phone. This is great information.
How did Murder Man get that phone?
I don't know.
All right, look, brother, we're gonna need to keep that cell phone, okay?
All right.
We're able to get a description of Murder Man, but not his real name.
The house. You know anything about the house?
Mm-mm. All right, do you know about any other missing women around the neighborhood?
Just one girl. Nicole?
Nicole?
But that was months ago.
That kind of lines up with this body in the closet in the state of decomposition. This body's not only decomposed, it's skeletonized.
What she look like?
White, blonde hair.
Andre goes on to say that there's missing person flyers all around the neighborhood. But what he says next is crazy.
Nicole used to hang with Murder Man.
As soon as he said that, I'm like, bam. I mean, could Nicole be the one we had in the closet?
What else can you tell us about her? You got a last name?
All right, man. Thanks for your time.
We don't know if Murder Man's involved, but we got to eliminate him. We like him right now until we don't.
Detective Dorsey speaks with Heather Camp's family to figure out if she's our first Jane Doe.
I spoke with Heather's boyfriend, Aaron. Confirmed she's missing. 33 years old, she's got kids. He also confirmed she's an addict.
Heather had been struggling with drug addiction. She was hanging in Atlanta so she could get those drugs.
I let the ME's office know, and they're checking her identity.
All right, what about the boyfriend? Could he be a suspect?
I don't think so. He's got an alibi, and for what it's worth, seems like he really cares about her.
When's the last time you heard from her?
December 16th. She said she was in Westlake.
Well, that's not far from Madrona Street.
He called her multiple times on the phone, but all efforts proved negative, and she couldn't be found.
So for now, we work the case like Heather Camp's victim number 1.
Right, and that means our timeline is narrowed down to the 16th.
We're thinking this may be the day that Heather Camp got murdered.
All right, thanks, Dorsey. Got it.
While waiting to learn if victim number 1 is indeed Heather Camp, we focus our attention on victim number 2.
All right, so Andre said the missing girl's name was Nicole, right? Let me see.
We start running the name Nicole through our local database, most importantly, our missing persons database.
All right, I might have a hit here. I have a Nicole Sartell, missing August 25th.
4 months ago. So that fits our timeline.
That goes in line with the state of decomposition of the body in the closet and the last time someone saw Nicole alive.
Hold up. You're not gonna believe this.
Uh-oh. What we got?
This cannot be a coincidence.
Yeah, we should have seen this coming.
All right, so I see some bruises around her neck. Probably strangulation.
We're making progress in the Madrona Street double homicide case.
Let's have their cell phone.
We caught a break, finding out that one of the victims may be a white female by the name of Heather Camp.
Is this killer really named Murder Man?
Only in Atlanta, baby.
Several witnesses have identified a possible suspect known on the street only as Murder Man.
We also have a lead on the second victim.
I have a Nicole Sartell, missing August 25th.
We learned that there's a woman named Nicole Sartell who's been missing for 4 months.
Hold up. You're not gonna believe this.
We've just found an unbelievable link between our 2 victims.
Yeah, we should have seen this coming.
All right, so there's a prior assault in her file, and the suspect is Murder Man.
There's that name again.
Let me print this.
Interestingly, Nicole had a run-in with Murder Man right before she disappeared.
So the police responded to an assault call, and like us, they had no government name for Murder Man, and he fled the scene.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
We really don't have any more details than what we're reading in this 2-page police report.
It looks like a detective tried to reach Nicole, but she disappeared, so case went nowhere.
Damn. All right, what other background do we have on Nicole?
Right here, Nicole Sartell, originally from Montana. It's only been in Atlanta a few years. Looks like some Arrest for drugs and prostitution.
She just found herself wrapped up in prostitution as a way to support herself and her drug addiction.
All right, so you see, that sounds like our Heather. And they're both linked to Murder Man. All right, let me see what else we can find based off his alias.
We type Murder Man into our database, but we come up with 0. There's nothing in our database regarding Murder Man anywhere.
All right, we need to find out this guy's real name, all right? Let's get to work on that. Check the streets, see what we can come up with.
All this stuff is lining up. Nicole Sartell could be the victim inside the closet. We gotta find this cat Murder Man like yesterday.
Later that day, we got a call from the medical examiner that they had positively identified our first victim through fingerprints as Heather Campbell. And an autopsy confirmed that she was sexually assaulted and strangled.
We let them know about Nicole Sartell possibly being the victim found in the closet. They promised us they'd get working on her identification.
And we believe that both women have ties to this guy known on the streets as Murder Man.
But without a full name, there isn't much we can do with that lead right now.
We think back to the first hours of this investigation and think back to the 911 caller, Ebony. She gave us names of 2 individuals who had visited the property.
Her son, Intellect Johnson, and her ex-husband, Maurice.
So we decided to turn our attention to these men.
There he is.
So I pulled up everything I could find on these guys.
Awesome. Let's see what we have on our denture. Oh, you've been busy.
We all of a sudden see he's an 8-time convicted felon from charges of drugs, assault, theft, you name it. This isn't a regular guy. This is a guy that knows crime.
Yeah. This brother's got a history of violence, man.
Yeah, he comes gift wrapped.
Then we get a prize. This brother, Intellect Johnson, has an active warrant for a probation violation involving the assaulting of an ex-girlfriend. This is golden.
I mean, we could bring him in and see what he has to say.
This could be our killer.
First, we got Murder Man, who we haven't identified yet. Now we've got Intellect Johnson. We've got 2 viable murder suspects.
All right, let's take a look at contestant number 2. The denture could be modeling his father.
Yeah, and he's released from jail right before the murders happened.
Yeah, see, man, I don't know who I like better.
So we're thinking Maurice and Intellect, both of these have been to jail. Father, son, both staying in the house, have access to where these bodies were. It could be either one of them.
See, what if these 2 are like a duo?
Or it could be father and son acting together. It wouldn't be a first for us.
So we could track him down and bring him in for questioning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
Yeah, go for it.
Detective Dorsey. Uh-huh. Great. We'll be right there. Got somebody wants to talk about the case.
By now, the shocking details of 2 bodies found inside of this house has hit the news.
Where are we headed?
Madrona Street. Tipster's one of the neighbors.
It's Boogie.
Hey, I'm Detective Velasquez, Woodward APD Homicide. You called in a tip?
Yes, sir.
We get this witness that comes forward by the name of Martin Combs. He says he saw a male outside of the Madrona Street location right before arrival of police and emergency personnel.
And you saw a guy at the house before police arrived, is that right?
Uh-huh. So Martin Combs goes on to say he saw a person in front of the house before we ever showed up, acting really suspicious.
You know him?
Yes, it was Maurice.
He says Maurice Johnson. We're like, damn.
You sure it was him?
Positive.
And we're like, here we go. We know Maurice has access to the house. Why is he acting suspicious in front of total strangers?
Sounds like our boy Maurice got some major explaining to do.
We may have just tied our killer to the crime scene.
We're about to be one step closer to solving the case.
He was trying to take me in the house.
Once or twice, that could be a coincidence, but 3 times, that's something else. But there's always more than meets the eye when it comes to murder.
I've seen her before.
This murder might have been a family affair.
Hey, I'm Detective Velasquez, Woodward APD Homicide. You called in a tip?
The investigation into a double homicide at a house on Madrona Street is off to the races.
We've developed 3 suspects, a guy named Murder Man and a father-son duo with ties to the residence.
And you saw a guy at the house before police arrived, is that right?
Uh-huh. One of the suspects just rose to the top of the list.
You know him?
Yes, it was Maurice.
We received information the father, Maurice Johnson, was outside the home when the police rolled up.
You sure it was him?
Positive.
And we're like, here we go. Is Maurice Johnson our killer?
What did Maurice do after the police showed up?
He took off.
Something a guilty man would do.
What about his son, Ardentry? Was he there?
It was just Maurice, and I haven't seen him since.
So at this point, we don't know what's up with Maurice Johnson. Maybe he knows something, or maybe he was involved.
Can you do us a favor? Could you let the neighbors know that we're looking for Maurice?
Mm-hmm.
So we put the word out. We want anybody and everybody out there looking for Maurice. We gotta holler at him.
Before leaving the area, we stop by the crime scene where we meet an unexpected witness.
Are you police?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're out there. This white female, about 60 years old, walks up to us and identifies herself as Elizabeth Meyer.
How can we help you?
I want to report a crime at this house.
Our ears are wide open. You know, what else does she have to say?
When did this happen?
About a week ago.
She starts to go into great detail about what happened that day.
According to Elizabeth, it all started on the morning of December the 14th.
She's walking, and when she gets to the house, right at Madrona Street, where these bodies were found, she sees two men.
That could be our father and son.
Right.
So what happened next?
They stopped me. One man said I had nice hair and kept walking, but the other man stayed.
That's when things quickly turned sideways.
He says to her, "You're coming with me," while he opens his shirt and shows her a gun tucked in his waistband.
He tried to take me in the house.
It could be any of the three suspects we've been developing. It could be a murder man. It could be Ardentry Johnson. It could be Maurice Johnson.
What'd you do?
I said I wasn't going.
Miss Meyer, she's badass. She looks at the guy with the gun and says, "If you're gonna shoot me, you're gonna have to shoot me right here in front of the street, because I'm not going anywhere with you."
You're serious?
Yes.
You know you saved your own life, right?
We looked at each other like, this woman, she is absolutely no joke. Because as she went with this guy, she probably would be dead. We'd be investigating body number 3.
All right, so what happened next?
It was strange.
He walks away and then he runs back to her and gives her a hug.
How do you go from kidnapping someone to apologizing and giving them a hug? It was crazy. It didn't make any sense.
That's quite a story.
This is a totally different situation than the homicides we're currently investigating. But the fact that this type of activity happened, this all may be kind of related.
This is a huge help. So if you hear of anything else, let us know.
We want to keep it around. This is evidence to draw back on later.
On our way back to the office, we get a surprising message. We actually get information that Maurice Johnson came to the homicide office waiting to talk to us. Like, this doesn't happen often.
Thanks for coming in, Mr. Johnson.
No problem.
This is somebody who's on our suspect list that we usually have to track down and take weeks sometimes to get him. Maurice Johnson has just served himself up to us.
All right, so we understand from your ex-wife that you stay at her place on Madrona Street from time to time.
Oh, no.
Maurice said he actually did about 3 months incarcerated at the Fulton County Jail. That upon release, he comes back to the old neighborhood and his ex-wife bans him from going on the Madrona property.
I live in the house down the street.
What can you tell us about this woman?
Nothing.
He denies everything. No involvement, and had absolutely nothing to do with either of their deaths.
What about her?
Oh, okay. Now, I've seen her before.
This one?
Yes, I've seen her with my son.
Ardentry came by for a drink, and they just chatted for a little while. He said Heather Camp was with him.
When was this?
It was December the 16th.
And we know December 16th is the last time anyone spoke to Heather. And we also know that's the same day that Heather's phone got street pawned.
If his son Ardentry is involved, we have a burning question that needs to be answered.
You ever hear the name Murder Man?
He looks at us like, you don't know?
I mean, of course I've heard it. That's my son's nickname.
That's the nickname he's gone by for as long as I can remember. Like, damn, this is crazy.
What can you tell us about this woman?
Nothing.
We're face to face with Maurice Johnson, a prime suspect for the double homicide on Madrona Street.
And what about her?
Okay, now, I've seen her before.
But he quickly turns the tables towards someone else.
Yeah, I've seen her with my son.
When we hear this from Daddy about Ardentric being in the company of Heather Camp, that's when your evidence and your witnesses, everything gets mashed together.
You ever hear the name Murder Man?
That's my son's nickname.
Maurice Johnson's telling us right now, Murder Man is Ardentric Johnson. They are the same person. This is crazy.
When was the last time you saw him?
A few days ago.
According to Daddy, Ardentric is the only one that stays at that house right now.
We wonder if Maurice's story is too good to be true. We have to think, is Maurice Johnson really just trying to cast blame on his son?
Explain to us why we have a witness that puts you, not your son, at that house on the day of the murder.
And he split before the cops arrived, right?
I mean, okay, look, I was there.
He said, my ex-wife called me because she told me there's a dead body inside the Madrona house.
All right, and then Ebony called you?
Yeah.
Maurice says that he actually went into the house with Ebony and saw Heather Camp's body and actually stayed on scene, lingering around until the police arrived.
I called 911.
We know that this 911 caller, Ebony, she never told us any of this.
You know anyone who comes here?
Sometimes my son or my ex-husband.
This is all news to us.
As a matter of fact, my son, Maurice Jr., he was there. He could back up everything I said.
What?
Either you or your ex is lying.
This murder may have been a family affair.
I'm being truthful.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to sort this out.
Mr. Johnson, you're free to go. We'll be in touch.
We don't know what to believe at this point. The best way to get to the bottom of this is bring Mama back. She's got to get around too.
Okay, Ebony, just a few more questions. We're gonna need honest answers.
We asked Mama, why didn't you tell us in the initial first phase of this investigation about all these different people from your family on our crime scene?
You didn't say anything about your ex or your other son being there. Why not?
I don't know. I guess I was trying to protect them.
She actually says she brought her son, Maurice Jr., to the house on Madrona so he could retrieve some personal items from within the house.
We gotta ask ourselves, if Maurice Jr. is there, is he somehow involved as well?
So Maurice Jr. lives there?
No, but he does keep stuff there. We were going to pick it up. That's when I discovered the body. I freaked, and I called my ex.
She owns the property. She probably is afraid what the repercussions might look like.
I'm telling the truth.
So start telling us more about Ardentric, or as some people are referring to him as Murder Man.
We want to know everything we can about Ardentric, and what better person to get that from than his mother. She explains that just a week ago, he was released from rehab, had nowhere to go.
I tried letting him live with me, but it wasn't working.
So what? You kicked him out?
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
To the house on Madrona.
Where's Ardentric now?
I don't know, and I'm being honest.
Ebony can't help us with that. She has no idea.
Thanks for your time.
We leave our number with her, tell her, give us a call if she knows where her son turns up at.
The interview with Mom paid off. Mom called the next day and said she found Ardentric and she dropped him off at a rehab facility down in College Park. We went there and arrested him on the probation violation charge.
When they brought Ardentric out, I noticed he had the word Murder Man tattooed on his arm.
Since the beginning of this investigation, all information leads us back to Ardentric Johnson. And now we're finally gonna have a chance to question this brother, and we just can't wait.
At this point, the case against Ardentric is only circumstantial, so his interview needs to be handled very delicately.
So what's the angle?
DNA, right? Hey, because when the rape kit on Heather comes back, I'm pretty sure it's going to belong to Ardentric.
Mm-hmm. But we don't want him saying it was just consensual sex.
Vince was on the cold case squad for years, where he worked DNA cases involving primarily sexual assault against women. He's the resident expert.
We're gonna need a confession.
Hey, that's where we all come in, all right? Nailed it.
I believe he can bring the truth out of him, and if he can't, he's going to get evidence that's going to tie him directly to this murder. This is how we get down with our investigation.
This is a very critical interview with him. I got one shot at this.
What's up, man? What's going on? Hey.
We need a confession.
Ardentrick Johnson, a.k.a. Murder Man, has been taken into custody on a probation hold. We finally have this guy in our grasp. We have to see what he's got to say.
Ardentrick agrees to speak without an attorney.
You have the right to remain silent. You understand that? Yeah.
With only circumstantial evidence against him at this point, this interview could make or break the case.
I want to ask you some questions, and I want to hear your input. Cool?
Okay. He's not even asking me why he's there. He's just being cooperative.
Who's this right here?
Heather.
What do you know about Heather?
Not much. She does drugs.
When's the last time you saw Heather? I seen you last time I seen you. It was like that. Probably last time, a couple of weeks ago or something like that, I think.
All right, so you said weeks?
Yeah.
We know that's a lie because we got people seeing Ardentrick with Heather Camp on December 16th. That's just 3 days before we find her body in his house.
You know this girl?
Yeah.
That look like Nicole.
I ain't seen her in a while.
As he's navigating through all of that, one thing I never tell him is that these women are dead. Why are you showing me these photos? I ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Why are you asking me these questions? You got the wrong guy. None of that came out of his mouth.
You need to use the bathroom with me? No, I'm not. Good. I'll be right back, guys.
I gotta remember, whoever this killer is, he didn't want to see that face in death. So I intentionally left the room, but I left a picture of Heather Camp on the table because I wanted her to look at him.
All right, let's see if he takes the bait.
And he's staring at that photo I left on the table. And that was the purpose of that. I wanted that to mess with his head.
I never told them they were dead.
Yo, I cannot believe this just happened.
This is a huge moment. He's acknowledging that he's a killer in our minds. I mean, this isn't a confession in the conventional sense.
Can we use this? Oh, yeah.
It's called a spontaneous utterance. He, in essence, has confessed to this crime without even me asking him a question.
Let's see what else he says.
I can't wait to get back in there, because now I got some more ammunition to throw at Murder Man.
So you haven't been completely honest with me up until this point.
So now I start hitting him with some real pointed questions.
Do you know what happened to her? No, I don't know what happened to her. She's killed. For real? I didn't know that.
He just tried to play like he was shocked at first. Clearly, he's lying.
Let's talk about Nicole.
Okay, but I ain't seen Nicole.
She's dead and she was in the closet. In your house. Dead. Been dead for 4 months. Tied up. Your house. Now you got 2 dead girls in your house. Not just one, bro. You got 2.
He is connecting all the tissues together. We're gonna find out what happens next, and I can't wait.
Did you ever have sex with Heather?
No.
So I wouldn't find your DNA on her?
No.
He was 100% adamant about that.
Stay put.
So I decided I'm gonna leave the room again, and I'm gonna leave this photo of Heather Camp on the table once more.
Let's see if lightning strikes twice.
It blew me away.
I gotta keep him talking. Come on.
That was a masterclass in the annals of criminal justice, according to Vince Velasquez.
So I need you to be straight up with me. What happened with those women?
I don't know.
So I guess you have no problem giving up your DNA.
He said absolutely not.
Well, you afraid it's gonna come back? Not really. Not really? Nah.
I want a lawyer, man.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna get a warrant to swab your DNA, and I'll see you soon.
We don't have to charge him with murder today because he's got this probation hold on him.
We returned with a warrant and took a sample of Ardentrick's DNA. While we waited on the results to come back, we continued to gather evidence.
During that time, the second victim was officially identified as Nicole Sartell.
Due to the advanced state of decomposition, there was no DNA evidence from Ardentrick Johnson linking back to her murder. We interviewed multiple people, including Ardentrick's cousin, who became a key witness in this case. His cousin said Ardentrick was a violent man, and it even became more violent when he was on drugs.
To make our case even more solid, DNA test results came back officially linking Ardentrick to Heather's murder.
Though we didn't get a confession from Ardentrick, we had a really good idea how things went down.
Someone there?
We know that on the night of the murder, Ardentric lured Heather back to the Madrona Street residence, enticing her with drugs.
You scared me.
No reason to be afraid of me.
At some point, Ardentric Johnson wanted more.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Get off me!
The evidence clearly shows that Heather Camp resisted.
Let go of me!
So, it was a fierce fight.
At some point during this assault, Ardentric Murderman Johnson duct taped our victim's face to keep her from screaming.
Ardentric Johnson basically kneeled over her and choked the life out of her. It's been my experience that more than likely, the sexual assault of this poor victim happened after she was dead. It was just senseless. There was absolutely no reason for him to kill her. We don't exactly know what happened to Nicole Sartell and how it happened. But what we do know is that she filed a police report against Ardentric Johnson previously for assault.
He's trying to get me arrested!
Things went bad. Nicole Sartell is bound with rope around her hands, her feet, and a rope around her neck.
No, please don't. Shut up!
And just like Heather Camp, he murdered her. That's his go-to, violence against women.
What's bizarre as hell is that Ardentric, after killing Nicole, he entombs her. He locks her in a sarcophagus inside the house he continues to live in. That part was the most deplorable. Ardentric Johnson is charged with murdering Heather Camp and Nicole Sartell. On September 25th, 2017, he is found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
Is this how the body was found?
We'd seen human suffering in so many different ways. We thought after 14 years, could we catalog another gruesome, grisly discovery? And here it was, we did it again.
All right, I might have a hit here. I have a Nicole Sartell, missing August 25th.
This case is sad, but this particular case is really a story about young women who, after getting hooked on drugs, just get entrenched into this street life. And I know this.
I tried to give it some help.
Drugs affect all walks of life, and no one's immune to this.
You scared me.
It does not matter that they chose a lifestyle that was high risk. It doesn't matter to us. We will work this homicide like it was the President of the United States. We take every